Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Brian here. It's a video on setting up SSH Access in your Cisco router or iOS device. So maybe your device is sitting in like a network closet, maybe a data center, or someplace that's not so convenient to set at and actually administer it. So there's multiple ways you can administer it, but SSH is probably the most secure. So that's what this video is going to focus on, is how to start this process. All right, let's go ahead and jump over into the lab computer. From here, this computer is actually physically connected to the router through a console cable. So let's go ahead and fire up our PuTTY, or our serial connection. COM1, it actually goes to all the radio programming stuff on this device. So I think it's under COM2 is the router that we have. Yep, so lab R1. Yep, so we're on the appropriate device. So let's get into enable mode. Show IP interface brief. Okay, so we got an IP address. All right, so let's go ahead and start setting up this SSH access to this device. All right, so let's get into our terminal configuration. And then the first thing we need to do is give ourselves a domain name. And now this doesn't have to be something you have to have routed over the internet. It just has to be something. So IP domain name, and we'll do lab, because why not? All right, so then let's start building our keys. Crypto key generate, and if you needed help, use the help. So this router only supports RSA keys because it's kind of old, but if you have a newer one, you obviously want to go for your higher level of security that your device performs. All right, so this one says basically that it can take a while if you go anything larger. Typically, you would not want to run a 512 modulus on this, but since this is a lab environment, I'm not as concerned about it. And it's behind my private firewall. All right, so as we can see, SSH has been enabled. So let's go ahead and create a user to log in with. So username, let's do Bob, and give him some privilege. Let's go and give him privilege 15 because Bob's a cool guy. Now here's where we can set our secret or our password. If you're not familiar with this, if you use password, it's going to be in clear text. Secret is not. So secret, we're going to set this one really secure. This is Bob. All right, now let's go ahead and apply this user to our virtual line so the way that we can log into it as Bob. So we're going to go line VTY05 is the most common, and log in local. So we're saying use the local database in order to log in. If you have like Radius servers or other authentication setup, that's a whole other thing, but that's where that would be as well. So then let's go ahead and give this a try and see if we can go ahead and log in. But before we do that, let's go ahead and specify we only want SSH. So transport input SSH. I only want SSH. I don't want anyone to telnet in. I don't want Bob to telnet in, and so everybody else can see what Bob is doing on my router. So let's go ahead and do that. And all right, so let's jump over into another PuTTY session and see if we can get in as Bob. So by default, it's on SSH, port 22. We didn't change the port number, so it should still be the same, 72.16.5.5. Okay, and this is telling us we should be concerned because we're using weak encryption. That's okay. We know it. And then here's the RSA key that it's warning us about. Hey, we don't know who this is, but we created it, so we know who it is. So who do I want to log in as? Let's do Bob, and Bob's super secret password. All right, so we are in as already in enable mode because we chose privilege 15. So we have SSH access into our lab R1 device. As you can see, it's not very complicated. It's more of just knowing the few steps in order to do it. Well, I hope this has been informative for you, and I thank you for viewing. If you wouldn't mind, click a like, dislike if you didn't like it. If you liked, go ahead and subscribe, or if you really want to go crazy, click that bell for notifications to see whenever I create new videos. Right on. I appreciate your time today, and hopefully this has been informative for you. Thank you.